All right, we're here for I think episode 6 or 7 of the
Seven.
episode 7 of the Wait for It Seattle podcast. We've surpassed 6 episodes, which means now we are in the this is going to be really nerdy, but the whatever they call the Star Wars films after the first 6, not the prequels, the sequels,
Well, you're really screwing this up. I don't think they called anything. They got the prequels, they got the original three, and then
then
they
the three
got the
after.
three after that nobody
Three
likes, but
after.
I kind of
Yeah.
like. I think they're
Yes.
underrated. I think people are sleeping on those, just like they're sleeping on us.
Yes. By
Seven,
the
eight,
way,
nine. We're about to go seven, eight, nine right here.
yeah.
I get to be Ray. Who are you gonna be?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Even though the Disney
What?
Plus.
Isn't he dead?
Oh, I thought we were just talking about Star Wars in
Oh
general.
boy. Oh boy.
Okay, we're off to a rough start.
You're
All
more of a
right.
C3PO.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Speaking of accomplishments, I want to congratulate the following people for making it through all the way through our podcast, our last Olympics preview podcast, which was an hour and 15 minutes. These people actually messaged us or got into contact with us. Jim, Justin, Caroline, Max, and Kari. Shout out to all of you for listening to the entire episode. It is an accomplishment.
That is
Um,
amazing.
and we appreciate you for listening.
Yep.
Um,
My sister might have listened to the whole thing. I'm not sure, but she was over with my mom today, and she said, "Mom, you got a shout out in the last episode." She goes, "Oh, I haven't listened." And I was like, "Oof, rough." But you know who does listen? Your mom, Kev.
yeah.
She
Oh,
listened to our
yeah.
first episode, and what did she say, Kev?
She said we were really funny.
No, 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 no. She said specifically, I was funny. Shout out to
Uh,
Bev. All right, it's
yes.
so good, so
Uh,
good.
if you check out the website, we have a new logo. And we appreciate everyone for listening and reading.
Yeah.
So with
We
that
are
said,
we're
yeah,
not we're 9 away. We're gonna say it. We're 9 away from 100 subscribers on Substack. And
it's a big deal.
when we get there, we have a big surprise, something we've been working on. It's gonna be
Uh,
great.
yes. Let's go to our 4 downs.
Four downs.
First down. What do we got?
Omaha. Sorry. It was like four downs. First down. All right. First down, Kev. It's the Olympics. It's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, people should know they spend a lot of time listening to our podcast talk about the Olympics. I learned something since last time I wanted to share with you.
Yes.
Um, Breaking, who we spent a good amount of time talking about, is a one and done.
It's
It's not,
only this year.
yeah, it's not in the 2028 Olympics.
Did they sign like a 1 year contract? How does that work?
They have a process for new sports and they get like trial basis. There's some like permanent sports and there's newer sports. And I don't think people will be too upset, but baseball and softball are coming back to the Olympics.
Yes.
And I don't know what baseball will look like. Bryce Harper is trying to make it like the World Baseball Classic, like have a break in the season for the Olympics, which would be cool. Um,
I mean, if the NBA can do it, so can the MLB.
it's the
Honestly.
WNBA who's in the break, right? Because NBA is
Yeah.
on their off season.
Oh,
Hockey
yeah.
does it in the Winter Olympics. Hockey does it. They stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's precedent for it for sure.
But they
And
know they can make money off of the World Baseball Classic, so I don't think it's gonna happen.
yeah, let me tell you, I went to a USA game at Arizona Diamondback Stadium, World Baseball Classic, and it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it would be, I'm not going to watch baseball if there's no major leaguers in it. So I'm not going to watch like Lance Lynn retire and throw pitches again with Trevor Bauer coming out of the bullpen or something. No, I'm not going
Sounds
to do it.
horrible.
Yeah, I'd
It
rather
sounds
have
horrible.
breaking back in
Yeah.
the Olympics. But
Yeah. Did you
so
watch the opening ceremony
I
at
did.
all?
I did actually because it's at 10:30 and I'm a teacher, so of course I did.
What did you think of the Lady Gaga performance?
I mean, it didn't do a lot for me one way or another. I think she's great, but
But you'd rank Celine Dion and Beyonce above it.
I was more impressed by the French metal band that played in that building with the
Yeah, they
Marie
were like,
Antoinette head
yes,
off. That
yeah.
was awesome.
That was really intense with
I
the
thought it
head
was
singing.
Metallica for a second, which shows you how
I
much
did see that. I
metal
did
I
see that.
know, but
Yeah.
that was cool. And I thought that they had some other like really compelling performances. And I was out on the boats at first, and then as it went on, I was like, "This is cool." And then the images of like LeBron as George Washington crossing the Delaware, like
Yeah.
that was awesome. Yeah, that was very cool. So,
Uh, Pretty cool that what I liked about what I like about the Olympic experiences, these guys are all millionaires, the NBA players.
yep,
A lot of these soccer stars are, they're really famous people, but they become like equals. They like go
yeah,
on team buses with like
yeah,
ping pong players or like there's
right.
it's just so interesting
Yeah, the
and
videos of like Steph Curry trading pins and Asia Wilson trading pins with
yeah,
like fencers
yeah,
and ping pong players and like trying to get the different pins like is
yeah.
super cool. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And then you learn about like who is the person you sent me today? What's her name? The rugby
The
player.
rugby player. Yeah.
She's
Uh
the third most TikTok followers of any rugby player in the world. I heard this today. I was watching her, and she is unbelievable. I mean, she's Marshawn in his
no,
prime.
that's exactly what I thought. Let me see.
Just absolutely,
Ilana Mar.
dude,
Yeah.
she's destroying people. And she's funny. If you watch her TikToks, like she's very funny. Um, she's great. So that's the Olympic stuff. Like, we didn't talk about her last week. We
Yeah.
didn't know about her, and then you learn about it. And in our competition, like you picked Leon Marchand to win the 400 IM. And I was watching today, I'm like, or yesterday, whatever it was. Like, I wish I had picked him. He's awesome. And he's
He was
French.
my number
Like,
one pick, right?
oh,
That
he's
was
so good.
yeah.
He's so fast. So
uh
you're up 6-5 after three events.
okay.
You have two golds. Katie Ledecky got a bronze, did not come through. You were killing it on the swimming. And then we actually don't we have like one coming up in the next couple days, and then we got more coming up later in August. So we'll have
Really
enough.
dangerous, folks. If I felt like betting, I read like three swim articles. I don't
Yeah.
know if some a little research can go a long way.
Yeah.
USA men's basketball though.
Yeah. USA men's
I
basketball. Watched
watched
every second.
I watched three quarters.
Which quarter did you not watch?
I didn't watch the fourth quarter when it was like the game was out of reach.
I mean,
It was
okay.
like 20.
Okay. Okay. It wasn't out of reach yet, but okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
You're working. You're
What's
working.
your biggest impression after watching that game?
Okay, I was feeling very cringy about Jason Tatum not playing. That was my first thought. Like Jason Tatum is a top. I mean, he's all NBA 3 teams in a row, 3 years in a row, and he just won a championship, and he didn't get a minute on the floor. And I think that's a reflective of my personality of like of coaching it for so long. And when I would coach, I would get like feeling of sadness for players when I wouldn't play them. Like I guess it's empathy. It's a good thing. But like
Yeah,
Tatum's really, really good. I didn't feel it for Halliburton, but like he played in all the exhibitions. But that quickly got replaced with, oh, you know why he's not playing? Because the greatest Olympian in men's basketball history came to play today. His name is Kevin Durant.
yeah. Derek White is sorry, complete. Derek White's on the
Yeah,
Celtics, right?
he is.
Yeah,
As is Drew Holiday,
yeah.
who
They
both
both
played.
played way more. Yeah,
Yeah. But I think it goes to like, I mean, X is a dark place and you could
yeah,
find people with ignorant opinions. And there was a lot of people blaming Kerr and telling me he's an idiot. I'm like, you don't know basketball. Like it's about roster construction and lineups on the floor. And Kerr said it after the game. Like it's not that Tatum's not a great basketball player, but Tatum, number one, doesn't shoot the three well. Number two, needs the ball in his hands. Well, who are you going to put him with? Like they've got guys who have the ball in their hands. Um, I think he could have maybe played for Derek White. That's what I wrote about. But
yeah.
they needed a defensive guy who's going to distribute the ball. I did not expect Kevin Durant to go 8 for 8 from the field in the first half, having not played in a 5-on-5 game since April.
11 for 11, right? At the
Dude,
end.
he's no, he missed
Yeah.
one, but like
Okay.
he's unreal. And LeBron is sick. Like he's awesome. Um, Embiid is not. Embiid is a problem. I wrote about this as well. Like
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is the guy. They were not good with Embiid on the floor, so that'll be fascinating to see what happens moving forward.
Embiid, the best analogy that I could come up with in my head was like the ball kind of dies with him, kind of like James Harden. Like
Mhm.
it's not like when he gets the ball he can't score or do an amazing thing, but um it just doesn't fit. Like it
No, it
just
doesn't fit.
feels
Yeah,
like guys kind of like the plus minus. I don't know what it is, but it's probably horrible for everyone else that's on the floor because the game slows down. Like it
yep.
just slows down, and they went on that run in the first quarter when they got the second team went in, the second kind of like the second set of guys, the second rotation, got some steals, got out in transition, and then they were rolling. Like that's
To
their
your
strength.
to your point, the only player who played who had a negative plus minus was Joel Embiid,
And what was it?
-8. Everybody else
Yeah,
was plus.
yeah.
I mean,
So
I mean, yeah, he wasn't good. He
do you
wasn't
think
good.
there was kind of like a I mean Embiid's really great, right? Like he has the numbers to back it up, but do you think there was kind of like I'll play for the US if I get to start type of thing going?
I I
Or is that just
do. No,
speculation?
I do. I
Yeah.
think there's something there, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to. I think they might need him in a big game and make it fit. And
Yeah.
um, I
I
don't
I
know.
I do think his value is, well, you get a guy like Jokic, right? You can throw Anthony Davis at him and you can throw Embiid. So it's a depth thing. But
Well,
what's the
and
point of
Bam
starting?
Adebayo, who's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, why do you need to start him, right? Why do you need to dig yourself in a 10-2 hole to start the game?
Well, yeah, and that's what's interesting is like I was gonna say egos, but I'm like Tatum's got to have an ego. Like that's
Yeah.
so Kerr's dealing with egos. That's gonna happen one way or another. Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, they crushed Serbia. Serbia's good. Like they scored a lot of points. What did they score? 110 points. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of points in a
Yeah.
40-minute game. It's eight
Yeah.
minutes shorter than an NBA game.
Well,
So
you know what's cool? No TV timeouts. So I was
you
waiting
loved
for
it. You
yeah,
couldn't
I was like
stop
waiting
tweeting
for
and texting about it.
yeah, I was like waiting for a break, and I'm like, no, they just keep on playing.
Yeah.
Ugh,
There's a lot of FIBA rules that are cool. I did have issue with a lot of people saying like, "Oh yeah, I love that it's more physical." I'm like, you didn't watch the second half of the NBA season. Like they changed the rules last year. They called the game way more physical
yeah,
because they were tired of people flopping and going to the free throw line all the time, and their product was diminishing with TV rights coming up, and it was
yeah.
a way better product the second half of the year.
Last
So
thing I'll say on this, Dwayne Wade really appreciated his
yeah,
commentary. At one point, he said, "This isn't soccer." There was that exchange with LeBron, and I think they actually ended up calling a foul,
yeah,
but it was the
it was
Embiid, like,
Embiid. Embiid
yeah,
got a flagrant. Yeah,
which was dumb because he helped the guy like not fall,
he
right?
smacked him in the face though.
I need to see the replay.
Yeah. No, you
Um,
don't. You don't need to watch any Embiid minutes. That's the key here.
uh, third
So they
down.
so
Yeah.
they play. No, we're only
Oh,
on
we're still
second
on second
down.
down?
We're still on second
Okay.
down. I am excited to watch the U.S. women tomorrow. I might have a little parlay with Sabrina Ionescu assists. So
Oh,
yeah, they play at
nice.
noon tomorrow. But people are listening to this. Maybe they've already played. Kev, we can move to second down. Yeah,
Third
we've
down.
talked enough about the Olympics. No, it's second down, Kevin. This is
Oh,
why
it
you could
is.
never be an offensive coordinator because you'd be
Oh
like,
man.
guys, it's third down. You'd be
It's
running in
second down.
trips personnel on the left, and it's like 2nd and 4, and you'd
Uh,
be running, anyway.
I'd be destroyed on X. Okay. Second down. Mariners trades.
Oh, man.
Were you excited?
Kev, we were so out on the Mariners last week, as was all of Seattle.
You would never
And
know that the team was tied for first place or a game back.
no, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, like, but they changed everything for me because here are players I looked up that they've acquired in the past at the deadline: Yonder Alonso, Carlos Santana, Austin Jackson, Cameron Maben, Kurt Casale. Like those are the type of hitters the Mariners in the last 10 years have acquired at the deadline. Just below average dudes. Like everyone remembers Carlos Santana a few years ago as being awesome because he hit 15 bombs. He hit 192 after we traded for him.
Yeah, but
Like,
some great hits in the
and great
playoffs against the
vibes,
Blue
like
Jays.
good
Yeah.
vibes, dude, you know. But I mean, Luis Castillo is a big deadline acquisition, right? But on the
Yeah.
hitting side, we've never come close to a guy like Randy Arozarena.
Yeah.
Like Randy Arozarena is a stud. He's a 2023 All Star. Um,
He's made
he's
the playoffs every season
he. Do you
since
know
he's
he's the third
played.
best hitter in postseason history behind Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig?
You
That's
know, you're
insane.
really amping up his arbitration argument right now.
I don't care. It's not my money. And it's not
That's
like
a
they
great
don't
opening
have it.
statement. This is
Yeah.
the third best playoff
Yeah.
hitter.
Um,
Um,
he comes in, he's got yellow shoes, amazing sunglasses.
a chain. He's
Oh,
got a
he's
chain.
just awesome. I can't wait for him and Julio together.
Yeah.
And honestly, throw him out there with Robles, who's like absolutely on fire and also has great vibes. Like that
Yeah.
outfield is exciting.
I hate to be a little like there's no data to back this up, right? But the vibes are really bad. They've been really
Yeah,
bad.
totally.
There's a lot of guys from the magical 2022 season that just ended up not being as good. I mean,
Yeah.
Suarez, he left. It kind of sucked. He's a fan favorite, but ultimately not that good. Ty France is done.
Yeah.
Like those guys were kind of part of that squad, and then this team has just been losing. Like really bad vibes.
With
So,
bad vibes. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Like they look
injuries too.
like they
Like
don't
just
want to
sad,
play.
just
Like they're
sad.
just yeah, they're sad.
Best way to turn that around is to face the worst team in baseball, right?
Yeah, but let me pause for a second to talk to you about the sad vibes that were going on. I went to one of the Angels games when the sad vibes were happening, but my vibes were up because I sat in the Diamond Club for the first time in my
Uh,
life.
these are the people that people yell at Mariners fans like you
What do you mean? Why?
because you're enjoying
It was a
this.
top five experience of my life at a
They
sporting game.
and they lost.
I was pissed when I left still. I was really upset.
So unlimited food.
It's unlimited food. You go in and you're like in a restaurant. They're like table for two, and it's like steak, lobster roll, all you can drink. It's amazing. That was before the game. And then you go to your seat and it's unlimited. It goes with your ticket. You just order from your seat. It takes about an inning to get the food, but like it's crazy. It was awesome. And I'm in the second row. Like I'm within feet of giant Luke Rayleigh, who is a massive human. By the way, Luke Rayleigh is a dude. He's big. And then I watched them lose 2-1 in a horrific game.
And that's directly behind home plate.
I was a little bit off to the side, but it was incredible.
Okay.
I've never been there. I figured this out. I think I've been to 450 plus Mariners games in my life.
I've always wondered how many I've been to, and
Well,
I'm just like,
I'm 45 years old and I average it at 10. I started going when I was like 6 months old. So
yeah.
probably 10 a year because there's years I've gone to 20, there's years I've gone to 5. I say 10 a year. So 450 games. And I've never been to the Diamond Club and it's totally worth it. And it did help a little bit with the terrible performance. But really, Randy Arozarena has helped me. And to your point of sweeping the worst team in maybe baseball history, the White Sox, they did face their three best pitchers, including Garrett Crochet today, who's good, and they hit him. And they had 4 swing and misses on 23 swings against him. And that is not the team we've been seeing for weeks.
I think it's the vibes. I think there's something like
There's
magical,
something.
right?
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. They go to Fenway and they play the Red Sox, who are just ahead of them in the wild card standings. And that's a huge series. Um,
But
but
we
in
got pitchers. This is the thing.
well,
We
let's go with the
every
trade deadline
series we
again.
go into, we have arguably we have the best, we have the better pitcher in every
That's
matchup.
true.
That's why we're so high on this team in the playoffs.
Well, and they added Jimmy Garcia from the Blue Jays, who in 2 innings already for the Mariners has looked dominant. And did you see what our boy Ryan Stanek did? Gave up 2 homers today in his Mets debut.
Bad vibes.
Thank
Bad
you, Ryan
vibes.
Stanek, for your contributions for about a month. You're out of here. I am predicting, not because I have any insight, but I can read articles which say basically the Mariners are scouring and on the phone, scouring, the landscape and on the phones every day. They are going to add somebody else.
Like a big hitter,
I don't think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be somebody that people are kind of like, but will be better than what they have in the lineup, right?
like a Rooker type.
No, Rooker is awesome. They're not trading him. He has 25 home runs. Like, no, Rooker's like better than Vlad stats wise, but I think Vlad's better. I'm talking like the Lane Thomases of the world from the
Taylor
Nationals,
Ward from
Taylor
the
Ward,
yeah.
or on my article, Luis Rengifo. I'm going to get excited, but
I
I don't think
mean,
Mariners fans
you
will get
didn't want to
excited.
go after Jesse Winker. He was on the block. He was a hot commodity.
There was no way Jesse Winker was coming back here. Like he ruined his relationship with the Mariners, which he
uh,
does everywhere he goes. Anyway,
yeah, but he was the spark plug.
he was actually, yeah, that fight. I mean, I loved him for a little bit. Like I was in.
Yeah.
And then he just wore out his welcome, which seems like what he does everywhere he goes. But
Uh,
they're gonna make a move. Depoto said basically everybody's on the table, like all the prospects. Um, they're gonna make another move by Tuesday, and they need to because the bottom of their lineup still. I mean, they're still rolling out. I love Josh Rojas, but like he's a 230 hitter. You got Dylan Moore at shortstop till JB comes back, and he's not good. Tyler Locklear, I don't know that you can be a serious playoff contender and like throw him out at first base. They need a corner player. They need a corner infielder who can play to fill another hole in that lineup and then watch out.
well, hopefully these good vibes are not temporary. Hopefully by next Sunday we're still as happy as
Yeah,
we
do you
are
think
right
there's a
now.
50-50 chance I text you tomorrow and I'm like, I hate this team, which I've texted you 7 times in the last month?
And the game's never over when you text me.
No,
So
I
then
always text you in the third
I
inning.
always check the score to see if they like actually lost. Uh,
Oh man, true
uh,
fandom. Hey Kevin, you know
okay.
what down it is now?
Third down.
They're down
Third
now.
down.
They're down now.
And we're going to Seahawks training camp, which
I am literally going on Tuesday to Seahawks training camp.
nice. So I've went a couple times. You go park and then they like take you in a little bus and then bring you over.
Yeah, you go to the
How it works.
landing and you get on a school bus and it's kids day. So Felix is going to go with me and
Nice.
do a bunch of inflatables and stuff. And I'm going to like dial into practice and try to figure something out. You can't take pictures. They changed the policy. Pete Carroll's practices he used to be able to take pictures, so I could throw it on our Substack. I got
Oh,
nothing.
nice.
I got nothing. Can't take
So
pictures.
I actually have some. I think Felix should bring something to get autographed, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, at the end of practice,
Yep.
there's some dead time before they go into the locker room and kind of wrap up. And there was a report from Brady, I think it's Brady Henderson from ESPN. Um, and he said he observed after one of the practices a couple of rookies try to like skip that part
Mm-hmm.
of the process. And he chewed him out. He said, go sign some autographs.
Yeah. Mike
So
McDonald is in charge, which
go
is
bring something to get autographed because they have been ordered to.
well, that is awesome. That is great. Mike McDonald, I think it speaks to the point of like for a rookie head coach to have that much command and like everybody says like it's clear he's in charge. Um he's I'm giddy to watch his team. Like I'm giddy to watch Ryan Grubb at the NFL level. Like the reports out of practice that the defense is flying around and what they're doing with Metcalf on offense and how good Geno's looked with Ryan Grubb at the helm. Like I'm excited. I'm excited for this team. I saw a tweet from Evan Hill, who used to write on field goals, I think, and now he's got like a Seahawks podcast. And he said like he stays up at night thinking about the Seahawks. And it's the most excited he's been in 7 years. And I kind of agree with him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that they'll be awesome. I think they'll make the playoffs, but like the Niners are more talented. But just what they're gonna do. Like you always knew with Pete Carroll, and I'm not trying to take him for granted, but you knew what the defense is gonna look like in the offense the last 5 years. And like
Yeah.
we have no idea what this is gonna look like. And that makes it
Well,
exciting.
I think the offense, though, like if you're from Seattle, you saw Ryan Grubb's offense, which is really kind of like Keelan DeBoer's offense.
Right.
And there was an interesting on Montlake, or no, it wasn't on Montlake. It was somewhere they were talking to Jake Westover, who's
Mm-hmm.
on the training camp roster, and he was basically saying like, actually adjusting to this offense is really not that hard. Same
Mm.
terminology, right? Like same concepts. So it really seems like they're kind of installing this what we saw, this Husky offense that we saw. Some things may be different. But the other thing that I'm starting to think about is
Yep.
Geno Smith's not that bad of a deep ball thrower. Like he takes shots, and that kind of just fits really well with
Well, yeah,
a
you know what
Ryan
else is
Grubb
interesting?
offense.
There was a somebody put out something this week that said of all the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, Geno is the most accurate on. So basically, they took all incompletions and said, what's due to a quarterback just being inaccurate and making a bad throw
Yeah,
versus pressure versus defense makes a play, whatever. And he's the most accurate on just throws without
yeah,
pressure, without whatever. So I feel like that like Grubb's gonna put him in a position. I don't know. I'm giddy,
yeah,
man. I'm like I can't wait to see DK like what they're gonna do because I feel like he's been underutilized
yeah.
for years, and
You'll
I'm not the
always
only
be
one.
underutilized in a run first offense. Yeah,
Well, and just like national people talked about like the routes he runs under Carroll's system was like two routes, and like he's a dude that can do all kinds of things. Like
yeah,
think about Debo Samuel. I'm not saying they're the same, even though they
yeah,
went to the same college.
yeah,
Or Brandon Ayuk, what Shanahan does with them, or like Puka Nakua in the Rams, what McVay does.
yeah,
Like we haven't had that kind of creativity, even though Shane Waldron came from McVay's system. Like we just, I want to see it. And unfortunately, preseason sucks in the NFL now because no one plays, and they're not going to show anything anyway. So we got to wait till September 8th. But I'll try to report back next week.
yeah.
The third string safety that I'm jacked for at practice.
Well, I wanted to see how I want to know if Jake Westover is going to make the team too. So see if
All right,
you,
I'll
yeah,
try to watch for Jake Westover,
yeah,
and I'll try to. I'm not gonna watch the lines. I was gonna say the offensive line. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna be
yeah,
watching receivers and corners. That's what's
yeah.
exciting. So
Um, all right, fourth down.
fourth down, Kev. You want to talk about Will Rogers, the
Yeah,
former actor in Western movies? No.
a vaudeville actor too.
Yeah.
Will Rogers the third, who I
Oh,
don't
the
think there's
third.
relation, but
Mm.
um, speaking of McVay and Shanahan,
Hmm.
okay, one of the things we've said over and over again, we don't know what this Husky offense is going to look like. We don't know how good the Huskies will be, but we do know. Here's what we do know: Judd Fish was the head coach at Arizona, and he has certain coaching influences. McVay, because he worked with McVay; Shanahan, because he worked for his dad.
Mm.
And from what I was able to glean, you know, it's not going to be all in like the 49ers or the Rams. Like so the 49ers, you'll see they have um they're utilizing their athletes. Like it's kind of like the Debo Samuel thing. Like they're getting their guys in space, they're stretching things horizontally. Rams are a little more like kind of a little more empty. Like they'll just like spread guys out. They'll utilize Puka, like you said, but there's like subtle differences. But
Yeah.
those are the kind of concepts that we're going to see in this offense. So it's going to be different than what we saw with Grubb last year, right? Like kind of just like taking shots downfield, using the pass game to open up the run game, very vertical.
Hmm.
Um, which is interesting because Will Rogers is coming from an air raid offense.
Yep.
Pure air raid, pure Mike Leach. So if you're a Husky fan, Pac-12 football fan, you've seen how this offense works. It's like lots of options, very simple. You find the option, you get it out quickly.
Right.
Um, and the biggest, like, so what does this mean for Will Rogers if he's going from this offense to um, something that's not like that, right? It's something where you're kind of dumping the ball off, getting your guys to make plays. Um, you're not, you're stretching it more horizontal, it's less vertical. Um, he's not going to put up the same numbers as he did at Mississippi State, which is really interesting because he was originally recruited by DeBoer to transfer over and to kind of just like keep it going, right?
Yep.
And Fish was able to keep him because Fish said, "Hey, you're going to be in an NFL offense, right?" Like that's kind of what he was stretching. I have these influences. This is how I run my team. Um, so this is a long way of saying, like, I don't know what to expect from Rodgers. I do know that he won't put up the same numbers, but I do think that this type of offense kind of lends itself, like, it kind of helps him in the sense that the offensive line is not going to be that good, right? And so
That's a
you're
good
not going to
question.
have
I don't
extended
know.
time in the pocket. So if you're having this offense where it's stretching horizontally, you can cover up a bad O line and you're getting the ball out quickly. Um, and he's ranked like in the Big Ten, like top five, right? Top five Big Ten quarterback behind the guy at Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, behind the guy at Ohio State.
Right.
Um, and you know, his ceiling is pretty high, pretty damn high.
I agree
And
with
that's
that. I agree that he has a high
yeah,
ceiling. I also think so. I mean, Penix busted through his ceiling, right?
it's just
But I
gonna be
thought,
hard to watch, right? Like we don't like
well,
we watched the best quarterback in football, like college football, for the past 2 years.
yeah. And here's what I would say: Will Rogers' floor is also really low, in my opinion,
Mm.
because I just, like you said, we don't know. And I mean, to the point, like they're not even like he's not even for sure the starter, right? Like,
No,
I
I
mean,
think he is. I think he.
I
I
think
don't.
he is, but they're not
Yeah,
talking like
yeah. They
he,
have to say those things, but I think he is.
I don't know. They didn't have to say it about Michael Penix. I mean, the first year they did.
Yeah,
They did
yeah.
have open competition because Sam Heward, actually, maybe even last year going into camp because they were trying to like keep Sam Heward around, I think, or whatever. But you're right. Will Rogers will start. I think his if he's good, it does change everything. Although
His receivers,
that,
though, like,
yeah,
yeah, that's the other thing. We don't know. We have no idea how good these receivers
I
are
mean
because they didn't
that's
play at
the
all.
team,
Yeah,
Kev. The
yeah,
team in general. They just had Big Ten Media Day.
yeah.
In the Big Ten Network, let me tell you, really likes their original teams. I watched some clips, and I don't even know who it was, but an analyst was like, they're predicted first of all, like the media poll has them 10th,
Hmm.
10th, right? Now the conference is huge, and if you go through the teams, you're kind of like, okay, those are really good teams, right?
Yeah.
Like 10th could still be, you could be top 25, honestly, and be like ninth or eighth in that conference.
But this is just, yeah. And
But hold
this
on,
will,
let me finish what I
yeah,
was gonna say.
yeah.
An analyst said, I think they're gonna go 3-9. And I was like,
What? That's
oh,
what?
I mean, 3-9 seems low
They're going to win
but
their first three games.
this right. And I think they're better in Northwestern, but I think this guy is biased towards the Midwest. I think what's weird about college football is it's not an East Coast bias, it's a Midwest bias. It's
But
like,
this is the stupidest thing because the Huskies were just in the national. You're getting me fired up.
yeah, but Kev, to your point, we have
Yeah,
no idea about the receivers. We have no idea about Will Rogers.
yeah,
I feel like the only thing we know is like Jonah Coleman's a good running back. And Cam
yeah.
Davis, when he's healthy, is a good runner. Like, I think they'll be able to run the ball. And I think they have some good secondary play. But we have no clue. They have new coordinators. Like, they got Steve Belichick. Like, what is happening? Like, the Huskies
The
are
great unknown.
I
It
am
is
so confused as to what
the
they'll
great
be.
unknown.
And
And
what
we still
frustrates
won't know after the first three games.
exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, it won't be. I mean, the Cougs maybe a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be more like oh snap, like we're frustrated if they struggle even.
Yeah.
Northwestern, I think that road game, like we talked about, right? No, it's a home game
Yeah.
because they don't have to play at the fake stadium. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I predicted on our podcast that they would lose to Rutgers.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going to lose to Michigan at home. And if they start 4-0, that puts them at 4-2, heading right into our preview for this week,
Iowa.
the Iowa
Have
Hawkeyes.
you ever been to Iowa?
Yeah, I went to Field of Dreams.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing.
Is
It's
Field
a
of Dreams near where University of Iowa is?
Kev, it's near nothing. Field of Dreams is in a town with one Days Inn and one IHOP. There's nothing else in this city. I don't even remember what it's called, other than the Field of Dreams filming site. But
I
when you
mean,
go there, it's magical.
to be fair, you could say that about pretty much every place in Iowa. Say it's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh
We're
dang.
offending all of our Iowa listeners right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be rough when your old teacher Heidi Kim. Did you have Miss Kim in
I
high school?
did. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
she's from
She lives in
Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think she listens to the podcast, but that's
Um,
my test every week is I throw out one of your former teachers to see if they're listening. All right, Iowa
um,
Hawkeyes, Kev. Here's the deal. They're really good on defense.
oh my God. We talk about the Huskies being brand new. Their defense, Iowa's defense is like the exact same thing from last season, and they were really good
They
last
were
season at
really,
defense.
really good. They had the fourth best defensive passing efficiency in the nation. Um, they gave up 15.4 points per game, which was fourth best in the country. Um, Huskies, sorry, the top four are all in the Big Ten. So that's rough. It was Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Iowa, top four in points allowed. And I think that's an interesting question. Like, what will Oregon look like? Take Washington out of it. What's Oregon and USC going to look like against these defenses? Like, is it just because they play smash mouth, middle of the country football, even though Ohio State was running out ridiculous receivers like Marvin Harrison Jr.? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Well, like, all right, Utah was a really like physical, like playing Utah year after year.
Yeah, but Kev, look what happened in the national championship game. That was a different time of physicality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Iowa is that's I mean, their defense is led by a linebacker whose name is Jay Higgins, and he led the Big Ten in tackles. He's the eighth best linebacker for NFL draft purposes. They have a secondary that returns both their safeties, even though Cooper DeJean of white cornerback fame got drafted and he's gone. I saw a tweet that they have another starting white cornerback. It'll be their third straight year with a white starting cornerback who's an NFL prospect.
It's
That's
like the Husky
fascinating.
tight end, white tight end pipeline to the Seahawks.
Yeah, but there's not white cornerbacks in the NFL. There's white tight ends in the NFL. It's just like a wild thing. Jason Sehorn, shout out. Um, okay, we'll move away
Wow, I
from
haven't
that.
heard that name since like NFL Blitz.
Oh,
Was
NFL
he
Blitz. That was great. I still play that when I go to arcades. Like the first game
NFL
I go to is NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz 2000?
I
Yeah.
love NFL Blitz. That's great.
Um.
What's the like
Okay.
the voice? I mean, I always think of NBA Jam, the voice in NBA Jam, like boom shakalaka. But on
It's
NFL
like kind
Blitz,
of
it's
like a
just like,
raspier.
yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
you got crushed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Shout
so
out
good.
NFL Blitz is great. I was a fan of NFL Street on the PS2, which was
Mm.
also really cool. But
Kev, if I had to buy a like video game, like a stand-up video game from an arcade to have in my house, it would either be NFL Blitz or NBA Jam.
oh yeah.
I have
Yeah.
nowhere to put it in my house, but I would do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. NBA Jam's fun.
It's great.
The on fire graphic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
He's on fire. All right. So the
um
Iowa offense, not on fire. Iowa offense cannot score. I'm sorry, Iowa scored 15.4 points per game. They allowed 13.2. They scored 15 points per game. They recorded over 300 yards just twice last year. The Huskies averaged 462 yards per game.
They will never average that many
Well,
yards ever
that's
again.
probably true. So Iowa went out and hired Tim Lester as their offensive coordinator. I did a little research. He worked with the Packers last year. He used to be the head coach at Western Michigan. In 2022, his last year with Western Michigan, they had the seventh worst offense in college football in
It
yards per
seems
game.
like a weird hire. Seems
Yeah.
like kind of like John Donovan-esque if you're a Husky fan.
Oh, yeah. Good
Really
pull
like
right
kind
there.
of weird
In
NFL
fairness to Tim
hire.
Lester, his teams were really good in offense the years before that. They were like top 20 in the nation. So
Okay.
he
Okay.
does have, I think reading Iowa blogs, which I did this week, like they're excited about just any change from what they had. I think the problem is they still have a quarterback issue. Their quarterback
Yeah.
is Cade McNamara,
But he didn't
transfer
even
from
play in
Michigan.
spring. He's got a
No,
torn ACL.
yeah, and when he played last year, he was not good. He
And
was
that's
not
the
good.
most important position. This is why I'm kind of higher on the Huskies because that Will
Hmm.
Rogers is above average. And I think if you're above average at the most important position, it means a lot.
Yeah,
Um, the matchups that they lost they lost 4 games. It is just like okay, so you said the defense gave average of
13 points
13
average.
points.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
listen to these losses. Penn State 31-0.
Hmm.
Minnesota 26-0. Uh or sorry, that was Michigan was 26 to
Hmm.
nothing.
Yep.
And that was in the Big Ten championship. They lost to Minnesota in the regular season 12-10. And then they lost their bowl game to Tennessee. And I don't know who was playing in this bowl game, to be
Yeah.
fair. It's kind of might have just been an exhibition, but 35-0.
Well, they had their quarterback, whoever was not Cade McNamara, but whoever was playing for them, and their running backs played because they're both back. So they had enough of their regulars to lose in that bowl game. Yeah, I think you bring a good point. Like I'm not scared of Iowa as a Husky fan, but going to Iowa and winning seems like a stretch to me.
I mean, that team, they won games. I just read
Yeah.
out the Michigan game was the Big Ten championship. The bowl game, kind of so they really only lost to Penn State and Minnesota last year. Penn
Yeah, they
State was a
won
fluke.
10 games. They won 10
Yeah.
games 3 of the last 4 years. They have a great coach. Kirk France is a great coach. Um, their running backs both average 4 yards per carry. LaShawn Williams and Caleb Johnson. They have a tight end coming off an ACL tear who didn't play last year, who's the fourth best NFL prospect tight end, Luke Leitchie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're good. It's going to be my previews are going to be boring at this point of the year because it's all going to be like I don't know what the Huskies are. So I would say they're going to lose to Iowa on the road, but
I think they're gonna lose too. So
I
that
don't. Here's one thing I would say. I know I said they'd lose to Rutgers. I don't think they'll lose both. So they're going to beat one of them. They're going to beat Rutgers or Iowa on the road.
okay.
And I think they're going to lose to Rutgers in a close game because they'll be 4-0 and they'll be riding high. And that's at Friday night. Remember, we talked about this East Coast.
It's like Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah. I just think they'll lose in a weird way.
Yeah.
Then they'll lose to Michigan. They'll get rolled. Iowa plays Ohio State. So they're both coming off huge games. And the Huskies are going to go in, 4-2. No one's going to care about them. And they're going to pull off an upset. So I'm going to change it.
You're gonna say they beat Iowa.
Let's go. It's going to be great. Jonah Coleman's going to
Uh,
have 45 carries in that game. It's
so
going
the
to be awesome.
Huskies are gonna be 4-2 then.
No, after this game, they'll be 5-2.
5-2. Okay. All
If they're
right.
4-3, I mean, I don't know. They'll still be better than 3-9 if they're 4-3. So
Yeah.
that
Splitting Big Ten games on the splitting those two
yeah.
games, I take that. Okay, so let's move to our top 5.
Yep, here comes the music. Top five, top five. Still working on
Uh,
it. Nobody sent us a track.
what do you got for me?
All right, Kev, you get a choice this week. Okay.
Yep.
Seahawk quarterbacks. Simple. Um, wait, what was the second one I said? Seahawk quarterbacks, Olympic basketball, or very random and a little harder, but more up your alley. Husky receivers, wide receivers, tight ends against Michigan.
Oh my God. No, give me Olympic
Oh,
basketball
I did so much research on the
for
Husky receivers.
400.
All right. Olympic basketball. You ready?
Yep.
Kevin Durant had a amazing game today. True? Yes.
True.
But his game today was not in the top five all-time single game points records in Olympic
Ooh.
basketball for
Ooh.
US, not overall. Because I will tell you, overall, there's a man for Brazil who I remember watching growing up named Oscar Schmidt, who has like multiple 40 and 50-point games in the Olympics.
Where his team's getting rolled. It's just
He was good, I remember.
yeah.
But yes, against the US, they were getting rolled. Okay. So I'll give you the top point is 37, and the top two are the same person. And he's the second greatest American basketball player of all time.
Kobe Bryant.
In the Olympics, not like,
Kobe Bryant.
no, that's a strike.
It's not Kevin Durant.
Nope, it's not Kevin Durant, but I'm going to give you Kevin Durant. He's on the list.
Okay.
So Kevin Durant is fourth. He had 30 twice.
Michael Jordan?
Nope, you lost already. You blew it. You should ask for more hints. I was ready to give you more hints. Syracuse.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony is unbelievable in the Olympics. He had 37 against Nigeria in 2012. He had 31, second on the list against Australia in 2016.
One of the best scorers ever to play the game.
Now
of
his
basketball.
31 were tied with a former New York Knick point guard in 2004. That year,
Stephon Marbury?
Stephon Marbury had 31.
Starberries. And he's wearing his
Starberry.
$15
Yep.
Starberries.
And then you had Kevin Durant at 30 twice. And then there's three other people with 30. One was on the Dream Team and is not Michael Jordan. He was actually the leading scorer on the Dream Team in 1992.
See,
He's
I'm
on
gonna I'm
he's
gonna
on the
pull the I was born in 1992 and I
he's
haven't
on
done
the
it.
TNT.
Charles Barkley?
Yeah. Charles
What?
Barkley. Charles Barkley was awesome in 1992. And then this one you won't get. Adrian Dantley is on the
Yeah,
list.
we're never
Adrian
getting that.
Dantley
He's a
was a
college
heck
player.
of a scorer in 1976 against Yugoslavia, right? No longer a country. And then one of your favorite players also had 30 in 2016. He's a splash brother.
Oh, Curry.
No, Curry's never played in the
Thompson.
Olympics until this
Oh,
year. Klay Thompson.
Thompson.
Klay Thompson. Yeah,
Damn.
there you go. So it goes Carmelo, Stephon Marbury, Kevin Durant, tied with Klay Thompson himself, Barkley, and Dantley, all in the 30s. But if you look up the most points ever in an Olympics game, number 2 on the list is a current basketball player who I say is the second best player in the NBA.
I don't know.
Luka Doncic
Oh,
for Slovenia.
how many?
I got to find it again. Here we go. Luka had, this is insane, actually. I don't even remember this. He had 48 points in the 2021 Olympics for Slovenia. Oscar Schmidt has the record, 55 points in 1988.
Wow.
Like, that's insane. Oscar Schmidt, 55, 46, 46, 45, 44, 44. He's in the top 10 like 6 times.
I know what
Guy
I'm
was
watching.
unbelievable.
I know what highlights I'm watching after this.
Number
Okay.
10 on the list, last one. Your boy Patty Mills had 42 in
For
2021.
Australia.
Yes.
Shout out Mike Kelly.
Yes. Shout
There
out
you
St.
go.
Mary's College.
St. Mary's
WCC, baby.
All
All right. What do you got for me, Kev?
I got a very vanilla one, but
Okay.
you know,
Maybe I'll get it this time.
Team USA, individuals across all sports. Can you name 5 individuals who have more than 6 medals total?
Oh, yeah. I can get
You
this.
get extra points though if you choose non-swimmers.
Oh, yeah. There's so many swimmers up there.
Yeah, so you get 1 point if you get a swimmer, 2 points if you get a non-swimmer.
Okay. This is a good time to talk about the shade I threw at Apollo Antonino last week,
Yeah.
which was unnecessary. He's on the list.
Yeah.
Apollo Antonino. So I actually looked up medals because I was going to ask you. So I didn't memorize it, but I do have an idea. And Apollo Antonono is better than I thought.
Yeah, he's
And
on
I
the list.
apologize to Apollo. And I
Yeah,
apologize to you, Kevin, for your hero, Apollo
yeah,
Antonono.
definitely counts.
All right. There's a lot of swimmers. There's some like shooters, like rifle people up there.
Okay, so that's interesting because that's totally I didn't realize like that you could rack up a lot of medals in
Yeah.
that type of
Well, yeah, you could be old and do that. So
yeah.
you could just keep going to Olympics.
Well, let me give you Ono before we move on. Two gold medals, two silvers, four bronzes,
Yep.
2002 through 2010. So
Okay.
that's three Olympics. Yep.
Um, I
So
mean,
you have
there's no basketball players on the list. Tarasi's going for her sixth, which would put her on the list, but she's not on the list. I could do a lot of swimmers. Like Michael Phelps has the most all time. I know that,
yep.
but I'll take it.
28.
I'll take the point.
The next person after him has 18. 28
Oh,
medals,
that's
man.
insane. I'm just gonna go with swimmers and take the points. Jenny
Okay.
Thompson is on that list.
Yes,
Yep.
1992 through 2004. That's like
Yep.
a long time.
Yep.
12, so that's 12 Olympic, that's 12 years.
Yep.
Eight gold medals, three silvers, one bronze. And
Carl
she
Lewis is on the
13th all
list.
time. Carl Lewis, 2 points. So nine gold medals, very top heavy, one silver.
Remember, I was telling you last week, and I did say Apollo is not in the tier with Carl Lewis, and I think I was right.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll give you a hint. There's another track athlete in front of Carl Lewis,
Wait, is this US?
US, who has more medals than him.
Yeah, but it's not like a sprinter, right?
It is.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Jackie Joyner Kersey. No.
Not more than him,
But is
but
he above six? She above six?
she's at right at six.
Let's count it. Let's go. That's
84
five.
through 96. Yeah, three golds, one silver, two bronzes. The person that I was pointing you to,
Yeah.
Allison Felix.
Oh, I know. I
Very
saw
under
the list and I was like,
23rd all time in
yeah.
amount of medals.
Yeah. Allison
For-
Felix, I think, had so much hype when she was young that, and she had at least one Olympics where it was disappointing for her,
Yeah.
but she was been in so many and she's so awesome. And if I have it right, I think she had a kid and then came back to the Olympics. Is that correct?
Incredible. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of my, yeah, she's one of my favorite
So
athletes
let me
ever. She's
just
awesome.
name the people in front of her.
Yep.
And see if yeah, Matt Biondi, swimmer, Mark Spitz, who my dad always talked about. Was like he was
Mhm.
like, this is a great
Yeah.
Olympic athlete, but then we had
Yep.
Michael Phelps, of course. Natalie Coughlin, Dara Torres, Ryan Lochte, Jenny Thompson, who you got, and then Michael Phelps.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like countries up here that don't exist, like a lot of Soviet Union action,
Yep.
gymnastics, and um, things like that. So
I think this was the cool thing about Allison Felix. So she won a gold in 2008 on a relay. Then in 2012, she won three golds, which is great. 2016, two golds, both relays. 2020, just a relay, but she was coming off of having a child. And then um, I think it was just like, well, she's probably. Oh no, 2020 was the one where everybody's like, she won't do it again. And she was on a relay because she had a kid and she won a gold and she won a bronze in the 400. It's just incredible. Like, yeah, she's
that's
incredible.
hard. That's
Yeah,
hard to do.
she's awesome. Allison Felix, great. She's in a tier with Carl Lewis. Sorry, Apollo Antonono, you don't get to be there.
Uh,
Do you think
all
he
right.
listens? Do you think he listens to the podcast?
I should send
What's
him
he
an
doing
invite.
these days, Apollo? What do you think?
He's probably training speed skaters because that's
I
what
think
you
he
do.
was I think he was on the last Olympics on the coverage, like as a
Oh,
commentator. But I'm gonna look it up right now before we go. I think it's really important that we know what
yeah.
Apollo's doing these days. Wow, his Wikipedia page is long. Maybe he is better than I thought. Oh, of course. He was in Dancing with the Stars in
Oh
2007.
yes, yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah,
watch
yeah.
that season?
I did. 2007, man, that was such a long
Are you a Dancing with the Stars guy?
time. In 2007, but like no, not anymore.
Hmm. You sure?
No.
Do you watch reality TV, Kev?
By watch,
Below
yeah,
Deck? Are you a
yeah.
Below Deck guy?
I watched The Bachelorette. I watched The
Oh,
Bachelorette with
there we
Chris.
go.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Apollo Ono has been on a lot of reality TV. That's why I ask. He's been on Hollywood Game Night, The Wall, $100,000 Pyramid, Biggest Loser. He's been in all kinds of stuff. So Apollo Ono, your 15 minutes of fame have turned into 20 years of fame.
A lot of reality
Kevin
television.
loves you. I'm like, you're okay. But the big news is I won the top five this week. It's huge news for me.
Yeah.
And we're going to track our Olympics coverage or what our events are this week. And
And the Mariners are gonna win every single game, and we're gonna be happy.
the Mariners are going to go 7-0 this week or 6-0. And we're going to be pumped when they have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting fourth next week.
All right.
All right, Kev.
Thanks for listening. We'll see
Bye,
y'all
everybody.
next week.
See ya.
Bye.